is not a ride-sharing video. Once again, this is not a ride-sharing video. What up, folks? Once again, it is your boy Tim, the handsome liberal. Going to be asking a question today because it does appear as if President Trump, I think it's next week. I got to get the date straight, but I'm sure you guys have heard about it. President Trump will be appearing on CNN, the CNN network. So we're going to be asking the question, do you believe President Trump should appear on CNN? As we all know, CNN has never really been friends with the Trump administration. That's President Trump and anyone that supports him. CNN is certainly not a fan of MAGA. So we know CNN's ratings. We know CNN's ratings have been in the tank for a substantial period of time. So there are some pluses, some benefits to CNN allowing President Trump to be on the network. Nevertheless, Trump has been saying since day one that he does not believe the network has been fair to him. Trump has had a hell of a lot of back and forth with the likes of Don Lemon, who's no longer on the network, Chris Cuomo, who's no longer on the network, Anderson Cooper, and a host of CNN personalities. So believing that that network is in the tank for liberals and for the most part a network filled with never-Trumpers, should Trump go on that network? What is in it for Trump to gain by going on CNN? We know CNN would gain ratings, potentially a few viewers. I'm going to assume not many CNN viewers or Trump supporters are going to remain viewing CNN. But there are some pluses to CNN for having someone like Trump on the network. After all, he is a ratings bonanza. But what about Trump? What are the benefits for President Trump to go into the lion's den and essentially communicate to a host of liberals? If you were Trump, that is the question. If you were Trump, or better yet, Trump's advisors, if you were one of Trump's advisors, would you advise number 45 to go into the lion's den and do an interview with CNN? As always, this program is and shall remain MAGA friendly. MAGA are my preferred guests. Nevertheless, liberals are welcome as always. So we're going to be asking that question. Tap the screen, get your boy up to 5,000 likes. Looking in the comments. Of course, go on to show his ignorance. So you're suggesting that Trump will go on CNN and show? Don't quite get that, but we'll keep it moving. I would go on. It says, crazy thing is I got this damn shirt on and I cannot read your comments. Okay, here we go. Calling out racism, Republican, of course, going to show his ignorance. All right, we'll go straight to the box because I want to ask you folks, do you think it makes sense for Trump to go on CNN? Winning sports picks. Good afternoon. Welcome to the program. Sports picks. What do you think? Trump on CNN, does that make sense to you?
Well, I think it's just a move from the establishment media to try to gain an ounce of validity.
Okay, the car.
Sorry.
You dropped out. Say that again.
I think it's just an attempt to gain back some sort of validity with the public because, they've been seen as a propaganda network for the past at least, 4 years, some would argue the last 2 decades.
But at this point, what news network is not considered a propaganda network?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's a good point. They're all, Operation Mockingbird assets, in my opinion.
Yeah. So, do you believe CNN will gain any credibility by having Trump on there?
No, not at all. I think it's kind of like what you're seeing with the Bud Light thing, where they're trying to kick the whole thing under the rug, where they're like, "Oh no, we didn't mean it. It was just one can," and it's not gonna work at all. But it's a last ditch effort to kind of gain back an ounce of respect, and all it's really gonna do is isolate the crazy people who are loyal to the network.
So let me ask you this question though: with no network having any credibility, if Trump wants to, did you put me on Bluetooth? Okay, I don't know what happened, but he made some check and it instantly turned into Echo City. So we'll keep it moving. I don't know what he did over there. Ruined CNN like he did Fox. Team Compton. Well, there are folks who would suggest that Trump has nothing to do with what happened to Fox. Obviously, I'm not going to be one of those. I do believe that simply blindly reciting things that came from Trump, it definitely has hurt CNN, but not CNN, but rather Fox News. So we'll see what happens. But many would suggest that Fox News is no longer fans of number 45. We'll see, because at the end of the day, Trump represents a hell of a lot of ratings. So I have a hard time seeing networks not being willing to work with him. Also, if Trump was black, he would have been president 4 more years. Go figure. You think if Trump was black and did everything he did, stood for the same policies he stood for, same tweets, same mindset, you think America would have voted him in a second time? Is that what let me make sure I'm hearing that right. I get you're saying that if Trump was black, he would have been reelected. But what if Trump was a black man, but still had the same mindset, quotes, tweets, policies, legislation? Do you think they would have voted him in from under that situation? I'd have to know. I'd like to know that. They would have lynched him. Oh, shit. I came from the Mastodon. And we're talking about, say, January 6th. You think if Trump Trump as a black man, let's say Tyrone, to get the name right. Let's say President Tyrone, number 45, Tyrone Jenkins, is outside of the Capitol building protesting the inauguration of the next white president that's following him. Tyrone Jenkins believes the election is stolen from him, and Tyrone Jenkins sends a hell of a lot of Jenkins supporters to the Capitol building. Some of them even say that they want to take the life of the VP. You think he would be reelected, huh? Okay. All right, fair enough. Just imagine a president named Tyrone. Well, if we had one named Barack Obama, we could have a Tyrone. All right, going back to the box. It is Takesha Blue. Good afternoon. Welcome back. Program Takesha. President Tyrone Jenkins. Good afternoon, Takesha.
Hey, how you doing today?
You're doing good. We're asking the question, should President Trump go on CNN? Think
Let
it
me
would be good for him, good for the network?
let me tell you this. CNN is now owned by a Republican. If you notice, you can look it up. If you
I haven't heard
notice,
that.
they have been kind of leaning anyway like last year's winter boots. So, Fox 6 is gearing towards Ron DeSantis. So
Yeah.
Trump is mad with Fox 6. So he's going to go on CNN to shun Fox 6 because he knows that the people that are watching Fox 6 that are his supporters, they're going to follow him wherever he goes. Now, my problem with this is this. CNN was fake news to him all this time and to his supporters. Now, are they going to go over there and now claim that CNN is the real news and Fox is the fake news?
Well, I will tell you this, in my humble opinion, they're going to claim the real news exists wherever Trump is on TV saying it. That's what they're going to
Absolutely.
say.
But that's
Yeah.
my point. That's how you know they are in a mind control cult.
Mm.
But what I'm saying is this: CNN, they almost in the dumpster. You might as well call BFI and tell them to bag the truck up and put the building in and dump them at the nearest dump site. So that's
So
why they
wait a
doing it.
minute
They
though.
want
So
their
if
ratings
you
to.
say CNN is in the dumps, then at the end of the day, this is a benefit to them, right?
That's what I was finna say. This will help their ratings, but for how long? Because they're gonna lose the ones that are supporting them that are not for Trump. To
I don't
gain
know.
some, listen to me. When they start leaning, like I said, like last year's winter boots, I stopped watching them. I have not
But what
watched
about
it.
if the crazy thing is, because you mentioned CNN being owned by Republicans, you now got folks on the left saying CNN is owned by Republicans, and folks on the right are now saying that Fox News is owned by liberals.
Listen,
It's
you can look it up. The guy that bought it, I promise you, he's a Republican. And that's honestly, if you had been watching them and kind of slipping in and out, you can see there was a shift coming in the conversations they were having and the way they started talking.
But wait
It
a minute,
wasn't
what if
hard to see.
you? But wait a minute, I lean left. But if I was to have enough money to purchase a profitable network like CNN, no, like Fox News, or if I got my hands on Newsmax or OAN, and I'm doing it for profit, I'm not going to change the forensics of that program. If I purchase Fox News because my analyst or my accountant tells me I can make a ton of money, I'm going to let them keep doing what they do. Even though I lean left, I would let them keep operating from a right wing platform because it's
Li-
making money.
Listen, the people that used to own CNN, they bank account probably was so low they had to swipe their card on their knees. But what I'm saying is this: the new guy, he gotta get his money, so he
Okay.
gotta do stuff to bring that money in. So he sees where, okay, if I lean right, I can get more right on here and I can get Trump on, and there comes my money. If we continue to lean left, which is really not profitable as I can see
Right.
this, then we're gonna have to make a change. So let me go with the base that I really support, that I know can gain capital, so I can revive this dead network, because it's on life support and nobody's pumping while the life support is going. It's just like the oxygen is on, but the machine is off. So if
You
he
got,
just trying to listen.
you got more analogies than Eric B. and Rakim. Let me ask you this though. I get your take on the network. What about from Trump himself? Do you think it's beneficial for him to go on CNN after suggesting that CNN is in the tank for liberals?
But what did I tell you? He's doing this to shun Fox 6 because they're supporters of DeSantis, and he going to CNN, and that makes them, he thinks that's going to make them look credible, because now he probably going to say, you see, CNN realized that they were just reporting fake news, so now they got the Trumpster on, and I'm gonna put my toupee on, not backwards today, but the right way, and I'm gonna take this orange Kool-Aid and I'm gonna smear it on my face, and
I
and
gotta
put
go. I gotta go, girl. You be
and
keeping
put this white out under my eyes, and I'm gonna go on there and show
me.
out.
I gotta go. I gotta go. You are wilder than Bill Hickok. I appreciate you coming on. Takesha, wow, crazy.
Awesome, awesome. You
Catch
have
you
a great
later.
day, sir.
You've already started it off. Good talk. All right. She she'll be at Zany's on Saturday at 7 p.m. All right, look it in the comment. That was funny as hell. That's why they destroyed all Al Jazeera. They just did news. Yeah, the Mastodon, that is a problem, is that if you try to give news without the opinion, it is difficult. Hell, I try, even though I admit I lean left. I make no, I make no hesitation in talking to folks on the other side. I give you guys a fair chance to get your opinion across, and I get a lot of hatred from both sides of the damn aisle. The right obviously think I'm a libtard. We get it. But even the left, because I'm willing to talk to the right, have a hell of a lot of problems with yours truly also. So I can understand how any network that tries to come at you from a moderate standpoint is going to face a lot of backlash. I'm in a tiny ass position on social media and I'm already getting it, and I only got a few hundred followers, maybe a few thousand if you guys would tap the damn screen, get your boy up to 10,000 likes. This is the backup profile, by the way, so I do generally have about 3 times as many people on during this time. But tap the screen. As always, if this is what you like, civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle without being fear of being banned, blocked, or censored, follow the program. The main channel is The Handsome Liberal, spelled correctly. If you'll notice, this particular profile has the final L missing. So follow the channel. Anyhow, let me go back to the comments. Trump lies. Name a politician that doesn't, though. We have to ask that question. When is the main profile coming back? Friday. Looking in the comments. No, I wasn't banned yesterday. I don't know what the hell was going on. I got on Now I know I don't fucked up because there we go. All right, we'll keep it moving. We'll keep it going with Joey NTX. Um, Go into the Lions Den, CNN, Cable News Network, and speak to the folks from a CNN platform. Good afternoon, Joey.
Hi, handsome. Hey, thanks for having me on. I just want to
Good to have you.
say this is going to be a ratings blockbuster for CNN and Trump. They are both going to benefit from this.
But wait a minute, Trump's going to get a ratings blockbuster anywhere he goes. He could have
Right.
went to Fox News and got just. In fact, I would submit that Trump probably would have got more viewers on
No,
Fox.
no,
You don't think so?
no. Or like you said, like Takesha said, we're going to follow him anywhere. And if we can piss off liberals by having, I think that's why Trump is going on CNN. He likes to make digs. And I think, just look, everybody's talking about CNN. Everybody's talking about Trump right now. And I
Yeah,
think CNN over the next 2 years before the next election, if they can go strictly center, they will do very well. They will pick up more viewership because
I agree with that.
MSNBC is not going to have Trump on. There's no way in hell they're going to have Trump on. And, if Takesha's right and Trump is not going to go on Fox, then CNN would really be the winner on just going center.
Right. I don't see Trump completely skipping out on Fox, though. I mean, him and Hannity are really close friends. I mean, both Hannity and Laura Ingrams have actually campaigned with Trump. In fact, Hannity was in a commercial campaigning with Trump, so I could see Hannity and Laura Ingraham trying to get him back on the network. Also, Jesse Waters has had pretty
Yeah.
close relations with Trump, so I can't see him completely skipping out on Fox.
No, he's going to go, like you said, he's just going to go. Anybody that's going to take him, let him talk. He loves to
Yeah.
talk. Anyone who's going to let him talk, he's going to go. I hope CNN really goes center and, has respectful dialogue now because we know that Fox News leans right, MSNBC leans left. I think it would be good for them.
But what about if Trump gets on CNN and starts saying things that are patently false, and CNN feels like they could go by way of Fox and the Dominion lawsuits? Should they keep him on if he's saying things that can easily be fact checked as false?
I mean, Wednesday night, the 10th of May, is going to be very interesting. I think Caitlin Collins is obviously going to try to limit what he says. I do see her over talking him and cutting him off and telling him he's telling lies. But we do know that Trump can control the conversation. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that's
It'll
true.
be interesting to see. You're right. If he starts talking about the election, that may be a problem.
Well, you absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt that man gonna bring up the 2020 election.
Yeah,
There's no
probably.
chance in hell he ain't gonna bring up the 2020 election. I mean, he left Fox News during the debates because he thought Megyn Kelly was too far to the left. So
Yeah.
I mean, the CNN host, I mean, I would assume she can't be any further left than Megan. I mean, she's not further to the right than Megyn Kelly.
Right.
And
Oh,
he
no,
thought
no.
Megyn Kelly was wrong.
Now, the good thing is that in the audience are going to be Trump supporters and undecided. They didn't say that there were going to
Yeah.
be liberals in the audience. So that could be a plus for Trump, if they're nice to him. But we'll see. I'm going to watch it. I'm going to have my wine and I'm going to definitely be watching.
Yeah. But do you have any now obviously you support Trump, you're MAGA, there's no problem with that.
Yeah.
But do you have any concern that he is not going into an audience where liberals can ask him questions? We see what happens when Peter Ducey of Fox News asks Biden questions and catches them all the time. But is it fair on the other side where the top candidate, talking about President Trump, does not take interviews from left-wing media and has also stated he does not intend to even have presidential debates? Do
Yeah,
you
that's
favor that?
no, I think he needs to do that. I think he does well in presidential debates. Look at when he went up against Clinton and she said, I forgot
Yeah.
the jail thing. And she goes, oh, and Trump said, well, if I was president, you'd be in jail. He has some really good comebacks. He is not scared to talk to anybody. I think he would do well. Remember, anytime he was coming off the airplane, almost 2 times, 3 times a week, he would be answering all kinds of questions. He did not fear questions. And remember, the media was all against him.
Yeah.
And
Well, I
unlike
don't,
Biden,
and, and I agree with you. I don't believe Trump is afraid to ask questions. The problem is he flies off the handle. So
yeah,
if you get a Peter Ducey in the audience, like with President Biden, where he's asking all these gotcha questions and things like that. Trump is not going to handle that from a professional standpoint. He's
No,
going to
he's
lose his
not.
fucking cool.
Yeah.
So that's
No.
probably why he don't go into those forums, is because it does make you look bad if you lose your cool all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, and he always would. Remember, oh, you're fake news. If he heard something he
Yeah,
didn't like, he said, "Oh, you're fake news," and then he would just leave it at that.
yeah.
He definitely needs to tune up his respectfulness. I do agree with that. I think that'll take him a long way if he can be nice on Twitter and in
Oh
these
shit! If he had had that type of tact, been
yes,
professional like that, he would have been on his second term. I do believe.
absolutely. I agree
Yeah,
with
I
you
do believe that.
100%.
All right, Joey. I don't think we
Hey,
totally disagree on anything. We lean on the other side to the aisle, but
yeah.
you're always welcome. Is this our first time chatting?
Yes, it is. I've seen you a couple times though, but I'll come by again sometime.
Anytime. My door is always open. Good talk. All right. Looking in the comment section. Conservatives who wear MAGA costumes are patriots in drag, and Donald Trump is their queen. Patriots in drag. Can you imagine that? A drag queen with the excessive makeup draped in a flag. Maybe there's a little cleavage between the stars. Wow. Wow. Okay, let me go back to the comments. Women, the youth, and minorities will stop Trump dead in his tracks. Well, I won't. I certainly believe that Trump is going to do poorly with the youth vote. But there's a hell of a lot of pro-life women out there that support what Trump is doing. And also, let's just be clear, I hate to sound sexist, but nevertheless, there's a hell of a lot of women that vote based on the choices of their husband. And there's a lot of husbands that are MAGA. So I do believe that the women vote will go liberal, but it might not be by much. Now, the younger crowd in this country, they certainly are going to go in favor of the Democrats, because what do young folks stand for? The college tuition. They lean more towards that socialism shit because they're the ones being shot in schools. They are for more gun laws. They like marijuana. They support the LGBT crowd. They're not very religious. They're not very pro-police. So, yeah, if you're under 30, the chances of you going towards the right, it probably isn't as strong because they don't have the same ideals. They're not in line. They're not on the same platform. But I could be wrong. Looking in the comments, Mr. Walter White says, "Thank God for the youth." Okay. Tony Rodriguez says, "Yes, they love pandering." All voters like pandering. All voters like getting attention. I've said it before myself that when it comes to African Americans not voting Republican, a little pandering will go a long ways. Come out and speak to the voters, period. Come out and speak to the voters. If you think Hillary Clinton or Biden is pandering, but they're getting all the damn votes, why don't you try that shit? You know, how long do you want to continue losing? Going back to the comments, or the box better yet. We'll keep it moving. We'll try it again with winning sports picks. You dropped out last time. We'll try to make it happen. Trump sit on a big, I don't even know what that is, but wow. Tap the screen, get your boy up to 20,000. So a few of us in here, 300 plus. I do appreciate you rolling with your boy. Tap the screen. It will helps out the algorithms and all that good shit. Winning sports pick doesn't seem to be coming into the box. So I don't know if something's going on, but looking in the comments, does a name matter? Says, because they don't give a damn about black folks. I would hope that's not true. Talking about the Republican Party, quote unquote, does not give a damn about black folks. I would hope that's not true. Nevertheless, the outreach from the Republican Party towards the African American community does seem to suggest there's not a lot of concern with our votes. And I've actually talked about that on the program here and had MAGA come on the program and tell me, we don't care. I've pointed out that routinely the Republican Party does poorly with the African American vote. And I've had folks in the comments say we don't care about that. So that could resonate. Hopefully not, though. 12% of the population, how much power do you think they have? See, there's a good comeback right there. Do not be afraid. African Americans are only 12% of the population. So how much power do you have? Well, when you look at how America's broke up, do not let the fact that we only represent a small portion of the population steer you in the wrong direction, because even though we represent a small portion of the population, we make a big difference in America's largest cities that do make a difference in terms of politics in this country. So it's only 12%, but if they are spaced in prominent areas, that makes a difference. There's a reason why all of your damn mayors of major cities are liberal. You don't think the African Americans have something to do with that in Chicago, Detroit, Los Angeles, Atlanta, all of these cities? It's only 12%, but notice where they are spaced. They're all grouped up, so in the areas that they are in, they have a large number. I'm just pointing it out. I'm not here to defend African Americans or go against your comment. I'm just simply pointing out that 12%, if strategically placed, can be of more value than you may be giving it credit for. Looking in the comments. So are they happy with schools and services in overall cities? Once again, do not be afraid. I'll go back to the box shortly. Are we happy with schools and services in overall cities? Probably not. It's probably not. But at the same time, I don't think if you leave a Democratic city and go to a Republican area, you're going to guarantee to be better off. There are some Republican cities that are doing better. There are some Democratic cities that are doing better. Every Democratic city is not run like Chicago. There are plenty of towns throughout America where the mayor is a liberal and the town is doing fine. So I don't want to, go into this sphere where Republicans are good and Democrats are bad. Because I could point out, say, Sarah Huckabee Sanders down in Arkansas, where she's the governor. Arkansas sucks. Poverty. I think they said like 1 out of 3 folks down there at least are connected to somebody that's strung out on meth. There's a lot of crime in the cities down there. Arkansas is not liberal. You don't hear them talking about Arkansas, but it sucks. So living a Democratic area and going Republican does not guarantee you a successful outcome. We point out Florida because their economy is doing good. We point out California because they suck. But there is a hell of a lot of middle ground that doesn't come up because people are speaking from a standpoint of an agenda. Looking in the going back to the box, tap your screen, get your boy up to 20,000 likes. We'll keep it moving. Electric Wolf 45. Good afternoon, Electric Wolf. I don't know what's going on with the box all of a sudden. It's expensive. Yeah, it's expensive to live in Florida. That is true. But it's also expensive to live in California, Chicago, New York, and some of the liberal areas as well. Electric Wolf 45, I don't know what's going on, but we'll keep it moving. We'll try to make it happen with Ross Wright, I think it said. Singing along. We're not playing the songs. I don't know where they were being singing. Way more expensive in California than Florida. That is true. But if you can't afford Florida, it doesn't matter that it's more expensive in California. You can't afford Florida either. If you can't afford to live in a $300,000 home, pointing out $1 million home doesn't make it any better. You can't afford to live in either place. How do the libs feel about EVs when we are strip mining in Colorado? I think that the liberals overall favor EVs for the simple fact that when you start going into strip mining, you have a control over where the waste or where the awful shit is happening. When you're driving fossil fuel vehicles, it's being spewed everywhere. If you do what you're doing from an electric vehicle standpoint, you don't have a whole city like Los Angeles with smog floating over it. So that's the way I believe the liberals see it. But like I said, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know what's happening with the box, though. Biden has lifted tariffs on solar glass from China. China is polluting. RB retired. China has never been a fair player in the game. But it would be wrong to just pretend like Biden is the only person that worked with China, knowing that they are well known for human rights violations. We've been working with China while knowing the lack of humanity in that country for at least probably 2 generations now. So Biden is working with China. It's awful. But that ain't been happening. Ronald Reagan, when he was working with them, it was bad. I mean, it's been bad forever. if you really want to take into consideration the way China mistreats people, we probably should have never been working with them since the beginning. It ain't like they used to be treating people right. So, I mean, Biden is working with them. But it goes back probably to at least the late 70s. Looking in the comments. I'm a product of Clinton-Biden crime bill and Harris convictions in California. My dad was locked up. Tony Rodriguez. I'm not a fan of the Biden crime bill either. But at the end of the day, our choice is likely to be Biden versus Trump. You can't criticize Kamala Harris and that 3 strikes shit and all of that crime bill stuff without taking into consideration Trump was donating money to Kamala Harris as a politician. Trump is in favor of stop and frisk. So you can go to the guy who authored the shit, or you can vote for the guy who supported it. Neither one of these folks would be a politician you should support if you got a problem with the 3 strike laws and the crime bills. Because one person was doing it and the other person was supporting it. That's why I've often stated that one of the biggest benefits to the Biden 2024 campaign is the fact that he's running against Trump. Because everything you point out on Biden, there are some forms of equivalence on Trump. So it doesn't do Trump any good that you can point to all of this shit. Let's try it again with Blacklight. I don't know what's going on with the box. TikTok is not playing fair here. Harris admitted smoking blunts while sending people to prison for doing the same thing. I believe that. I mean, look at all of the shit they did during COVID where they were telling us not to do it. We could go to jail for doing it or lose our job. And Nancy Pelosi's getting her hair done. I mean, I believe that. Blacklight, good afternoon.
Hey, man, I think that you got somebody that's reporting everybody, because I've been on your live twice, and one time I got banned for nothing. I said something about Ronald Reagan. I got banned, and then I was on it last week, and
Did they report you in the middle of your
but it wasn't a negative thing. So somebody. Yeah, they report, and then I tried to appeal it over and over, and they wouldn't release me. So what's happening is somebody is messing up your. Hello.
Yeah, you're going in and out. Yeah, I'm hearing you, but some of it's broke up, but I'm hearing your conversation. I do see people. Yeah, I certainly believe that as my popularity has grown, there are some haters that have come out the woodwork, because you're not the first person to tell me this.
Yeah. How did he get banned? And they banned me, and I'm like, what? So that's why you got to be careful. Anyway, my statement, no ban or whatever, is that we got to look at China for what it is. If it wasn't from Richard Nixon allowing China, a communist country, to enter our free enterprise market, and the reason that a lot of what happened back in the 70s and 80s was because they was trying to control the labor unions.
Right.
The labor unions was becoming powerful, and people would get in.
Okay, Blacklight, I'm gonna have to reset you. Unfortunately, Blacklight, I'm gonna have to reset you because you're breaking up so much. I don't know if side or your side, but you're breaking up so much that I couldn't hear everything you were saying. But I do agree with you that the whole sole purpose of dealing with China was based on greed. There were powers that be in this country that wanted to circumvent U.S. labor laws and pay less than the American worker would command for labor. So they were able to lobby the politicians to open up the floodgates to cheap Chinese labor at the expense of the American people, because that is around the time when salaries in this country started becoming stagnant. After all, if I can get folks to work for a third of what Americans work for, then Americans are going to have to accept less for a salary to compete with the shit I could do overseas. I can either pay you $2 or $3 an hour less than you're asking for, or you can keep pushing and I'll just take the whole plan overseas. So that really opening up the floodgates to Chinese labor, which started toward the end of the Nixon administration, got real strong during the Reagan administration. And it wasn't just the Chinese also. If you look at the Reagan administration, for instance, watch any television program, late 70s, early 80s. I'm talking Hawaii Five-0, Chips, Beretta, any program that showed outdoor scenes, cars on the street. You'll notice before Reagan was in office, all of the cars on the street were American. When Reagan left office in 1988, now you got Datsuns, you got Toyotas and Nissans. All of a sudden, under the Ronald Reagan presidency, all of this foreign shit started coming in. And then it went from Japan to countries that would even work for cheaper. So you got China, Philippines, Africa, and all of this other stuff coming in. But yeah, it was to circumvent U.S. labor laws and get people to work for cheaper. Looking at the comments, why is Biden sending 1,300 troops to the border? Because the way he handled the border from the beginning was a failure. It has not worked. Folks on the right should be championing Biden for doing what you've wanted him to do from day one, address the border. He's doing what folks want him to do, and they're actually complaining about it. Just like under President Obama, he got elected, liberals are for open borders. All of a sudden, Trump gets in office, he's separating families and shit, and Obama was doing it too. Why weren't you giving him credit for doing something you actually wanted him to do? You wanted families separated to disincentivize people from coming over to this country illegally. Obama was actually doing it. But instead of giving him credit, you were telling everybody he was for open borders. So sometimes you find yourself in situations where you can't win. Let me go back to the box. Unapologetically melanated. I don't know what the hell's going on with the day, so I do appreciate you folks
I got
on the
one
screen.
Friday for you too.
Oh, fuck.
I got one for
Unapologetic.
Cleveland, one for Warsaw today.
Okie dokie.
So I'm trying to get my thoughts together.
Okay, I got it. Apparently he has another conversation going on in the background. Obama dealt with unaccompanied minors. That is true, but he also certainly was separating children or separating families at the border. He was doing it. The folks on the right was not giving him credit for it until Trump started getting hammered for it. And to defend Trump, they actually brought up, well, the policy that we like that Trump is doing, Obama was doing it too. Well, you waited till after he's left office to give him credit? No, you're not giving him credit. You're just using it to defend Biden, or Trump rather. Hey, brother, how you doing today? Hillbilly, I'm doing all right, Hillbilly Jim. All right, going back to the box. Black light, we'll try it again. I don't know what happened last time. Today is kind of flaky on the program. I do appreciate you folks that are watching. Tap the screen. Get your boy up to 30,000. Helps out the algorithms. The program is and shall remain MAGA friendly, but TikTok is what it is. Looking in the comments. Hello, Andy. Good afternoon to you. And for you guys that do like this back and forth from a civilized perspective, without any fear of being blocked, banned, or censored, I invite you to follow the program. We're here Monday through Friday. This is what we do. And we're here for the sole purpose. Crystal, thank you for your generosity. The sole purpose is to demonstrate that if we can have civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle, it can be done in Washington. We can do it in this tiny ass corner of social media and make this shit work. They can do it in Washington. They're just not trying. That's what we do here. Without any fear of being blocked, banned, or censored. The program is and always will remain MAGA friendly. But liberals are welcome. Black light. Black light. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the box. I have no clue. That's why I keep coming back. Thank you, Andy. And same thing to you. No live heal or something like that. Thank you. Looking in the comments here. We're asking the question, though. That was the whole purpose of the live is, should President Trump go on CNN, going into the lion's den, a network that he has said since day one has been fighting for his demise. Here he is going on CNN, well publicized. I guess the first question I would ask is, do you think Trump will get a fair shake on CNN? I don't think they really have any hosts or commentators that are outspoken from the conservative side of the aisle. So whoever, they have someone chosen already, but whoever CNN would pick, you wouldn't look at them and suggest that they're MAGA or a Trump supporter. So when he goes on CNN, do you think he will get a fair shake? You think they will ask him tough questions? You remember Biden got the reporter's question in his damn hand, which is embarrassing as hell. You should not have a reporter's question in your hand prearranged. And they tried to lie about it. I mean, you're caught in the open. I mean, a cameraman took a picture of the card in Biden's hand. It's got the reporter's name on it and the question that they're going to ask. And then the reporters in the crowd asking the very question. And then you see the Biden administration try to clean it up and say, no, they didn't hand us anything. I mean, it's a clear-cut lie. You know, I lean left, but I'm not going to pretend like a lie is not a lie. And what the Biden administration did was clearly a lie. I don't know. I don't expect that to happen with CNN and Trump, but hopefully it doesn't. Looking in the comments, no different than Hannity loving Trump. What does that say? No different than Hannity lobbying Trump a softball question. Yeah, Andy, I agree with that 100%. I watch Trump generally wherever he goes. And yeah, when you watch Hannity interview Trump, yeah, it's about the softest interview you can get. I would prefer I've watched some of the older Bill O'Reilly Trump interviews. Bill O'Reilly's a longtime friend of Trump as well. The interviews are still softball, but they're not as soft as Hannity. Hannity's interviews with Trump are more like a campaign commercial. You know what? I mean, no follow-up. Trump can say whatever the hell he wants. No effort to fact-check or question anything he says. For instance, Trump got on Fox one time during the Obama years when it was still up in the air about if Obama was born in Kenya or not. And Trump stated, I got investigators in Kenya, and you will be amazed at what they're finding. The Fox host didn't even ask, well, what are they finding? Once they interviewed him later on, what did they come up with? I mean, just making up shit. They're not finding anything. He didn't hold them accountable. So that's what I'm talking about. You should be able to interview someone and push back on things they're saying, particularly if it makes no sense. All right, look it in the comments. Hannity will cut Trump off when he starts to go off the deep end. Truth is irony. Cutting him off is not holding him accountable. Stopping him from talking is not holding him accountable. When I have guests on here, if you say something that I think is ridiculous, I ask you to explain it. I don't cut you off. Let the man speak. But you can question, well, where did you get that from? Who is your source? That's what I'm talking about. And on Fox News, they don't push back. Even later in the program, maybe the guy says something that makes no sense. If they have a liberal on the program, and he appears as if he's kicking the ass of the Fox News debater, stating facts or stating something that sounds like facts. And after he's off the program, they find out he was lying his ass off. They bring it up. Even if he's no longer in the program, you know, the last liberal host we said he claimed this. Actually, it's not true. Here's the information. You could easily do that to Trump all damn day long. They don't do it. That's what I'm talking about. You got to be able to push back. Obama wasn't born in Kenya, Tony Rodriguez. No, he wasn't. And they knew it from the start. But yet they perpetuated that myth, starting with Hillary Clinton, but Trump took it to a whole new level. Now, Hannity won't do that. No, he won't. Hannity is a friend of Trump. Listen, just like Tucker Carlson apparently stated behind the scenes, he realized and stated to Laura Ingraham and Hannity, Trump could destroy all of us if he wanted to. So they know if we interviewing Trump and we say some wild shit, he's going to tell all of our viewers to stop watching us, which has essentially happened. Fox News viewership has dropped drastically. And for the most part, it's simply because Trump has started promoting them as not a reliable network. Same thing with Ron DeSantis down in Florida. When you look at what Ron DeSantis did in the midterms, That shit was historic. The amount of support for Ron DeSantis, the amount of counties he won, was some shit to yell hallelujah for. Since Trump has started saying that that guy is not ready for prime time, his poll numbers continue to drop. Ron DeSantis ain't did shit different other than got into a spat with Trump, and he's already starting to hurt pretty badly. You won't ever hear from Jeb Bush again. Jeb Bush was riding a wave. Getting into a spat with Trump is destructive. It is not good for your health. I got folks that watch the program that actually live in Florida, love Ron DeSantis, and are suggesting we don't want Ron DeSantis to run against Trump because we don't want him to get destroyed. Not that we don't think Ron DeSantis is good or a good person that could lead America. We just know if he gets into a spat with Trump, his whole damn career may be over with. So we'd rather he wait until 2028 and get away from this shit because Trump is above his weight class. That Trump coat is stupid and loyal. Okay, fair enough. Halloween Xi Jinping. We need DeSantis for 28, says Joe Parker. I don't know what's going on with the box, but I'll try it in a second. Here's what I don't get. Most folks, my beloved MAGA, will tell you in a heartbeat. They believe you're going to get almost the exact same policies out of DeSantis that you're going to get out of Trump. Most folks will admit, I'm talking about my right-wingers, not left. We know what the left is like, but we're talking about folks on the right. Most folks on the right not only believe that they're going to get the same policies out of DeSantis as President Trump, most will also agree that in terms of Washington, the party would be far more united under DeSantis than Trump. The Liz Cheneys, the Mitt Romneys, the Mitch McConnells, all of them folks are going to ride behind DeSantis, plus just about all of MAGA. So you're going to get a united party under DeSantis. He's umpteen years younger than Trump. He could be in office for 2 terms, not 1. Yet they are going towards Trump when virtually all of the metrics favor Ron DeSantis. I don't get that. Even as I'm admitting I'm a liberal, I'm admitting I got some ignorance here, but I don't get that. On paper, DeSantis should be the choice. Now, I will point out also, this is going to be critical of number 45, critical of President Trump. If he was truly in favor of restoring this nation, repairing this nation after Biden, he would endorse DeSantis and get behind him. That's the winning ticket. He would endorse DeSantis, ride with DeSantis, take DeSantis all over the country and promote the guy. That would be the winning ticket. But instead, he's like, if it ain't me, it ain't nobody. That's what he's pretty much doing. If it ain't me, it ain't nobody. But all of the metrics favor DeSantis. Just going to point it out like that. Looking in the comments, because they want Trump to blow up the Constitution and make himself the one true MAGA king forever. Wow, that's a mouthful, Biz. I hope you are wrong. However, if that was the goal, to blow up the Constitution and make Trump king, DeSantis would be the guy that could do it. Get DeSantis in office and get all the pieces in place, and then it could happen. It could be done, but I do believe that DeSantis will be a far stronger candidate with Trump's endorsement than what Trump is doing on his own. That's just the way I see it. Now, I know a lot of you folks do think I'm wrong, but we'll keep it moving. All right, we'll try it again. Niner Man, 319.
How you doing?
Good afternoon.
Good.
Trump on CNN.
No, I just wanted to ask you a question because I'm not a Trump guy, but I'm starting to wonder if people on the inside of Biden's political party might be internally sabotaging him because of all the stories coming out. There was a story 10 minutes ago that the FBI has a document that Joe Biden was illegally selling policy decisions for money while he was vice president, and now Chuck Grassley subpoenaing there's another whistleblower. So that's 3 whistleblowers in a month? Do you think his party might be trying to damage him so he doesn't run? I mean, I don't know if it's true or not. You're innocent until proven guilty, but this is a lot for somebody that's been, and for people that think in the comments it came out 6 minutes ago. All you got to Google is FD 1023 Joe Biden. It'll show you the story. I found one from the Washington Examiner, a left-leaning newspaper, so it's not Fox or the Post. So
Well, I'm going to assume that any politician is going to have some haters in his own party. I don't know if they're trying to sabotage the guy. Now, I don't want to go that far into it, but it is suspicious. I haven't heard what you're talking about yet.
Yeah,
As
it
you
came
said, it
out 10
just came
minutes
out
ago.
6 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, I haven't heard it.
I got the
Go
app
ahead.
on my phone that drops new stories, and it came out 10 minutes ago. You know, then
Wow.
you got the Anthony Blinken thing now, and then you got the other whistleblower about to testify in front of Congress over the investigation into Hunter Biden. I was just all of a sudden all this shit's coming out on him. I mean, I don't like the guy, but I don't want to. If it's not true, I don't want to see him get railroaded either.
Right. Now, you opened up by stating you're not a Trumper, and you're now saying you don't like Biden. You don't favor Trump or Biden.
Well, Trump is anti-American, especially after his last speech where he wants to put soldiers on American streets. That's against the Constitution. That's
When did he say that?
I was about 3 weeks ago saying, "Oh, I don't know the exact context, but I did hear him say it." And after January 6th, and I like Mayor Adams, putting a picture of a baseball bat with a assailant behind him with a baseball bat, and that's just not how you act as a presidential candidate. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean,
So let me ask you this. That I have to ask: if Trump were to get reelected, because folks point out the economy and things like that under Biden that they do not favor, and as you stated, you don't favor Biden either. What do you think America would be like if Trump got back in office?
Honestly, I think he's kind of lost his mind. I don't think he's like
They say that about Biden.
Yeah, but Biden, I don't think it's his fault. I just think he's way too old. That his brain is just slowly starting not to work. I don't think he's doing it out of malice. Trump, I think, will be very vindictive and won't give a shit about the business of government like he did after he lost the election. Like, Trump could have went out with class, said, we'll try again in 4 years. You know, we lost, shit happens. But he didn't. He acted like my toddler when I take her Amazon tablet away. As I told you before, I can't stand him anymore. I don't understand how much.
Now, did you support Trump at all in any of his other runs, the other two elections?
Yeah, especially his first one, because he was different. He was for, the economy. He was for strengthening the border. But now when he's talking about all this vindictive and victim blaming shit, we're supposed to be responsible for our actions. And he said he's the party of law and order, but then he's okay with breaking the fuck. I mean, you can't have it both ways. You can't bitch about the riots of the summer and then say it's okay to attack the Capitol. It doesn't work that way.
Mm. So you see him as hypocritical. Now, let me ask you this in the comments. You mentioned about your toddler with the Amazon tablet. In the comments, Miguel said, but your toddler hasn't lost anything anywhere near as important as what Trump has lost, suggesting that Trump is acting like that because he was robbed of something significant.
He had a chance to prove he was robbed in his Supreme Court, and he lost. That's the end of it. The country is more important than one person. Maybe I come out a little biased from being in the service, I don't know. But the country is more important than one person. He lost in his Supreme Court. What else can you do? I mean, it's ridiculous. I think there's a bunch of shit that I think the Niners are bullshit when they lost. They had no quarterbacks to play in the NFC Championship game. They were playing. They fucking do a redo on like Madden, but it's the world we live in. That's why I don't understand why people can still vote for Trump. Now, I'm still a Republican. I'm an old school Republican. I like DeSantis. I don't like his culture war bullshit he's doing, but I like to,
What about Nikki Haley or Tim Scott or Chris Christie, Mike Pompeo?
Scott, but I don't think Tim Scott will be. He's not a well-known enough name yet, especially when Trump likes the shit. But only good thing about Tim Scott running is Trump couldn't use all the names and shit on him, hopefully, because we'll make him look.
Are you serious? What would stop Trump? What do you think is isolating? Hang on. What do you think is isolating Tim Scott from Trump giving him names?
Well, because Trump's an idiot, and he could say one thing that's even too offensive for his base, I hope, and hopefully people want to vote for him. I don't know. I mean, I did not like what he did.
Wait a minute. What on earth do you think Trump could possibly say that would be too offensive for his own base? I mean, he went to Ron DeSanctimonious, and that was the second biggest guy. Same thing with Mike Pence. He attacked his VP. What else could he possibly do?
As Barack Obama said about Joe Biden, never estimate the chance for Joe Biden to screw up. I say the same thing about Trump. Never underestimate that man to fucking have his mouth get him in trouble.
Yeah.
I like people that weren't captured when he didn't serve in the military. Give me a fucking break. I like people that weren't captured. I mean, I wasn't a huge fan of McCain, but the guy was, you want to argue he's a hero, not a hero, but he served his country, and you're going to shit on him like that. I can't remember the Gold Star family's name where he was shitting on those people.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I do
I was able
remember
to
that.
overlook a lot of that because I was afraid of 12 years of in a row of Democratic policies. But now I just can't. I'll vote for Harambe or fucking Pedro if Trump goes through the primary again.
All right. Good talk, Niner man. Wow. Said a mouthful.
But
Come on
if you
back
get a chance,
anytime, man.
Mr. Liberal, check that out because this is the worst one by far. FD 1023, Joe Biden. It just came out 10 minutes ago saying that there's proof that the FBI's been sitting on. Whether it's true or not, I don't know, but the story just came out.
FD 1023. Okay, I'll take a look at it. Appreciate you coming in.
Have a good day, sir.
You too. Wow. And we've had that on both sides, by the way. There are folks that, from the liberal side of the aisle, that have had enough of Biden. I don't know if they'll go vote for Trump, but there's no shortage of liberals that do not want Biden to run again. Well, there you just had someone who voted for Trump in 2016, certainly no fan of Hillary Clinton, that has made it clear they have now had enough of President Trump, would vote for Pedro over Trump. Wow. All right, looking in the comments, you guys always have stories. They're never true, says Moshika. What story did you hear that you don't believe is true? Diaz didn't want Trump blowing their New World Order globalism. Our freedom is on the brink. Jill, I'm not intelligent enough. I'll admit ignorance when it comes to this New World Order, this globalism stuff. I hear about George Soros and things like that all the time. My personal problem with it is I've been hearing it too damn long. I've been hearing this since Bill Clinton was in office, that they were for a New World Order and all of this stuff. It hasn't happened. I'm just not a fan of what I refer to as Armageddon politics. Vote for this guy and the world is going to end. Such as when Obama got elected. You vote for Obama, taxes are going to be 70%, they're going to turn us into socialist Greece. Didn't happen. Same thing with Trump. Vote for Trump, we're going to be back in slavery. It's the Armageddon part of it. You can point out somebody's flaws without suggesting the world is going to end if they get reelected. We've had Biden in office going on 3 years. The economy is not great, but the world is not ending. Folks are talking about World War III is going to happen tomorrow. You got, what is it? What is those three countries? BRIC or whatever the hell it is. Britain, India, Russia, and China. I mean, we're painting a picture that if Biden wins, the world's going to end. And the liberals are doing the same thing, too. The liberals are saying if Trump wins, the world's going to end as well. I'm not a big fan of Armageddon politics. Everything Trump said would happen if Biden was elected has happened, says Dimebag. I'd have to go down the list of what Trump stated that would happen if Biden got elected, because I look at America currently and I listen and I hear and recite the things that Trump said. I don't see America as someplace I don't recognize right now. It's not that freaking bad. When you listen to Trump speak of the current condition of America, you would think the military had been reduced to 5 soldiers. The military is dilapidated. That's not true. So I don't know. I'd have to hear what Trump said, but I'm pretty sure I can give you areas that Trump made it sound like it's way worse than it actually is. It's just, we're not in a damn depression. You're not eating your horse to survive. It's not that damn impoverished. People, we just had Thanksgiving and Christmas. Presents were still handed out. Thanksgiving dinners were still huge. People were still buying big screen TVs for the Super Bowl. All of the NBA finals games or playoff games, the stadium is full. I don't see all of this rampant depression that's being pointed out. I'm hearing the economy is awful. I don't see Americans living like that. I just don't. I see some folks complaining my 401k isn't what it used to be. I've lost some money, But they make it sound like we are in a 1920s depression. I don't see that. And folks are saying not yet. Yeah, that's going to be the point. You'll be saying not yet right up until the election. That's why we need to get Trump. Then Trump, if whether he wins or not, if he doesn't win, you'll be saying the same thing for 2028. We need to get rid of liberals because it's going to happen, but not yet. Listen. To me, it's called Armageddon politics. Let's keep it moving though. In the box, Tony, and I cannot pronounce all the rest of that shit. We'll keep it moving. Good afternoon, Tony. What I said is happening now. What part? Get up, Tony. Tony, are you with us? Okay, apparently not. Keep it moving. Yes, everyone is poorer now because you pay more for everything, even if you are rich. Leah, I don't agree that everyone in America is poorer now. I just do not buy into that. There's a hell of a lot of folks that can say my income has went up under the Biden administration. Yours truly is one of them. I make more money now than I did under the Biden administration. It depends on what you do for a living. If you have money in EV or alternative fuels, you probably are doing better under Biden than you did under Trump because Biden favors EV. If you sell firearms, you probably are doing better under a liberal administration than a Republican administration. Because when liberals get elected, there is a fear that people are going to take away firearms and the price of firearms skyrocket. So when the liberals are in office, folks that are dealing in firearms generally make more money. So there's a host of folks that will say under the Biden administration, I'm doing better. Many would suggest Barack Obama sold more firearms than any other president in history. He's a liberal. Because the price of AR-15s alone under Obama, I think they went up 3 times the price. Some folks in the audience, some of my Second Amendment supporters can let me know, but I do believe the price of an AR tripled under President Obama. So clearly, folks who were selling that made more money. Somebody said 3 times at least. Exactly. Okay, old timer. Obama said he was the best gun salesman in the lab. Exactly. Good afternoon, old timer. Welcome back to the program.
How's it going, brother?
Not too bad at all. We're talking about Trump daring to enter the lion's den and go on CNN. You think that's a good idea?
Yeah.
You think it is?
Yeah. I mean,
Why?
yes, yes and no.
Well, we know that
Yes,
Trump has been saying from day one that CNN is not on his side, does not favor him. So why do you think it's a good idea to go on a network that you think is against you?
well, because who'd they pick up? Tucker?
No, CNN ain't gonna fuck with Tucker Carlson. No,
Well, I thought he was going over to CNN.
no, he used to work for
know.
CNN.
Trump is he's a failed businessman, but he's a savvy businessman. Because even though he failed in businesses, and it depends on how you look at it, he played the game and he played it by their rules and kept all of his money and closed the businesses and didn't have to pay anybody out. So if you consider that failed business, well, the business may have failed, but if you considered his prosperity after the closure of those companies, he was more prosperous and was able to keep everything because he played the game that was set up. But how does
that look? How does it look to have a businessman do that to his employees? Is that the morally right thing to do?
Well, no, but morals never come into play in government.
If you're going around saying you for America first and you're not a typical politician and you're actually a better choice than everybody else, you're pointing out when everybody's flawed, so I'm one of them.
Well, you gotta look at what's the underlying behind for America. Are you for America as a country, as a whole? Are you for America as understanding that America is the citizenry? Or are you for America solely for the point of it's a capitalistic empire?
Well, if he did what you're suggesting, that would essentially suggest that he is for himself. He did it to enrich himself at the expense of all his employees.
Oh, yeah, he did. I mean, he's a showman. He's always done for himself before anybody else, and
Is
he's
that a
done it.
good? Is that if a showman that is for himself as opposed to everybody else? Does that make for a good commander in chief?
Well, that I don't know because he's just a figurehead. I mean, he's got appointees that carry the president just carries the brunt of the good and the bad, regardless of where it comes from. But they're not the ones that pull all the strings. They've got office execs and advisors and telling them what to do and everything else.
Who do
But
you think under the Trump administration, where there was constant folks being fired and terminated, who do you think, because you said Trump was a figurehead, who do you think was pulling the strings for President Trump?
probably his daughter or his wife.
You think the country was being ran by Melania Trump, who wasn't even born in the country? Shout out to Obama in Kenya. But Melania Trump's not even born in America. You think she was pulling the strings?
Well, I think she had a lot of influence, but I also think Michelle Obama had a lot of influence over Barack.
Yeah. Wow.
And I know Hillary had influence over Clinton because if he hadn't married her, he'd have never been president.
Yeah, but at least they are Americans. They
But it
are
doesn't matter.
American born.
The only thing an American born makes you is capable of becoming the president. We
So
have
if I go pick what they call them, Russian brides, or go get me a chick from the Philippines and marry her and bring her over here, you think it's all right for her to be telling me what to do to run the country?
Hey, you got to make your wife happy. His mom ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Yeah. I mean, you hear folks saying that he might have been in with the Russians or something like that. I mean, could it be possible that they could, present this person with a really attractive woman so he'll marry her and take her back to the United States and she could be an agent? Wouldn't that leave you kind of vulnerable?
Well, every president since Roosevelt's been in with somebody. I mean, what is it? Obama was in with the Ukrainians and Afghan for the resources there. Trump was in with Russia because he had businesses over in Russia or was trying to put businesses in Russia. Obama's in with the Chinese. So every president there's ever been has been accused of being in with somebody that's not favorable to the country.
Mm. Do you
That's
think
why.
Trump is in with the Russians?
No, I just think he's in with bullshit.
I thought you was MAGA.
No, I think Morgan Freeman and Candace Owens or Condoleezza Rice as a second would be a better choice than anybody on the ticket right now. Morgan Freeman.
Candace, whoa.
Morgan,
Candace Owens, you would support Candace Owens for commander in chief?
I would support Candace Owens or Condoleezza Rice as a VP to Morgan Freeman.
What the hell is
900 days
Morgan?
a year.
Morgan Freeman's an actor. Why do you favor Morgan? I mean, he might be to read the Declaration of Independence really sexy, but why are you
Well,
picking Morgan Freeman?
let's back up. Trump was an actor before he was president, right?
Yeah, but he does have a hell of a lot of business. He has a lot of diplomatic, he's met and dealt
Yeah.
business with world leaders long
But
before he became president.
but in his position of actor, many people consider him even a failed actor, not just a failed businessman. Morgan Freeman is not a failed actor. And from what I've seen in all of his movies where he portrays the president, he plays a better president than I've seen since Gerald Ford.
So you think Morgan Freeman plays a better president than Trump actually was?
Oh, hell yeah.
Damn. Now you
I'd vote for
voted for
Morgan.
Trump, right?
Yeah, I voted for him.
Once or twice?
I voted for him once.
Over Hillary, and did you vote for Biden in this? Which election did you vote for Trump? 2016 or 2020?
16.
So you voted for him over Hillary. Did you vote for
Oh, yeah.
Biden last election?
No, I voted for an independent that was running out of the southern states.
So let me ask you this. After Trump came in, after Obama, many people thought he gave us a really good economy from 2016 to 2020. After seeing what he did while he was in office, why did you not vote for him to have a second term?
Oh, because like all the other presidents that I've seen since Gerald Ford, he was a lot of talk and no action at that point. I mean, they spend their first 4 years, they spend their 2 years prior to an election making promises they know good and well they can't keep, but they convince the American citizenry to buy into it and get them elected. Then they spend their first year trying to recover and blame what the previous administration did. And the next 3 years trying to get reelected for a second term before they actually get anything done.
So when Trump says, and by the way, folks, tap the screen, get your boy up to 40,000 likes. I appreciate you guys rolling with me. Tap the screen, help out the algorithms. So when Trump says promises made, promises kept, what does that mean to you?
It doesn't mean anything to me. And
Do
just
you
same with
think
the
it's
Biden administration. What promises he's made and he's kept doesn't mean anything to me. My wife just spent $170 on groceries yesterday that 3 years ago would have only cost her $40.
wait, she spent $140 and it would have cost her only, you're saying that in your area groceries have went up, what is that, over 3 times the amount? What the hell did she buy? Cocaine?
Yeah, no, she buys generic groceries. I mean, we don't eat, if there's what's a Heinz condiments, for instance, Heinz ketchup. We don't buy Heinz ketchup. She buys generic. She always buys the generic everything because it's lower price. But yesterday she spent $170 on the same amount of groceries that 3 years ago would have only cost her $40.
Wow. I admit groceries have went up, but I didn't know, I haven't seen that. I mean, like, I like the rotisseries from Walmart, something we all probably are familiar with, the little rotisserie chickens. Under the Trump administration at Walmart, they were $4.99. Now I think they're about $6 at Walmart. Your thing, they should be like 12. I've seen groceries increase, no denying that, but not to the extreme you're talking about. I say
Yeah,
from $40 to
I started to buy,
140.
I started to buy a rotisserie chicken at Walmart last week because our other grocery store was out of them, and it was a half-pound rotisserie chicken, and it was almost $10.
Yeah, I'm talking about the whole one. They come in, you can get them in
Yeah,
lemon pepper, or they have them under
yeah.
the heat lamp.
This was the whole rotisserie chicken. It was a half-pound chicken and not a full-grown chicken, and it was almost $10.
And what did it used to be before Biden?
It used to be a 1-pound chicken for $4.97.
So it was a 1 pound chicken for $4.97, and now it's $10 for, what was the weight of it again?
1 pound for $4.97, and this is a half-pound for almost $10.
Wow. Yeah, I haven't seen that. That's substantial.
We
I
had
mean, 'cause
we had we had Dr. Pepper, for instance. That's my, if I'm not drinking coffee, that's my preferred drink. No, I'm not lying. Uh,
where do you live in?
Doc,
What part of the country are you in?
Oklahoma.
I mean, like I said, I'm not denying that food prices have went up under the Biden administration. I'm not going to pretend like that's not happening. Just you've seen some really big, I mean, you're talking more than 3 times the price for your groceries. I couldn't afford that if that happened. It's not that bad where I'm at. I would say what I used to pay $120 for may go for 160, 170. I'm seeing some change, but not 300, like 300 or 400 bucks. I haven't seen that.
Well, I know that a 15 pack of Dr. Pepper cans right now is almost $10 at Walmart. You know, before the COVID, and it's not the administration fault for price increase. It's producers' fault for price increase because of the increase of supply and demand and the limitations on productivity because of COVID. You know, when the price of anything, regardless of what the consumable is, the price of anything is going to go up if you increase the supply and you cannot increase the demand.
Yeah, like I said, I don't disagree with any of that. I just haven't seen the price increases to the level what you're talking. I've seen price increases. I'm not going to deny that, but 3-4 times as much. Where you go. I mean, what was a 2 liter under President Trump? A 2 liter of Coca-Cola might have been $2 at the most. I don't see anywhere where I go where 1 2 liter costs you like $6 or $7. I haven't seen that type of an
No, I don't.
increase.
I haven't seen it either. But then again, the 2 liters don't sell as much as individual servings do. They're not as
Okay,
in
well,
demand as
even a
individual servings.
even a 20-ounce drink, you might go and buy it at a gas station. You get a 20-ounce bottle of Coca-Cola. That may be $2, $2.50 or something. I haven't seen that going for $6 or $7.
No, it's $3 here now.
Yeah, and that's a small
2.97.
increase. Yeah, that's a small increase. That's not like 3 or 4
Yeah.
times. Yeah, that sounds
Mm.
a bit more accurate from
It's
what I'm seeing.
it's certain, and it's not everything. It's just certain things. Unfortunately, it's the primary stuff we buy. The generics have gone up. So I told my wife, I said, well, if you send me grocery shopping, I mean, the generic prices are equivalent to the name brand stuff. So I can go in now and just buy name brand because that's what I recognize.
Fair
And,
enough.
still come
Yeah,
out with
I
one
mean,
bag for $300.
shit. All right. Okay, old timer. I'm not
But
going to be buying groceries in Oklahoma anytime soon. I appreciate you coming on. Good
I think
talk,
it's
man.
going to be cheaper to drive out of state and get groceries and then come back than it will be. But yeah, I'm serious. I'm serious about that, though, brother. I would vote for Morgan Freeman, and if he had, Candace or Condoleezza on the ticket with him before anybody else that's on there. He's just
I may be able to discuss Condoleezza, but Candace Owens is a no-go zone for me. I can't even look that way. But I appreciate you coming on, man. Good
have a
talk.
great day.
You too. You too. Getting in the comments, yes, that's because you're a liberal. Yeah, Miguel, that is a good point. I mean, why would I not vote for Candace Owens? Is it because I'm a liberal? That certainly is part of it. I mean, her entire platform is criticizing liberals, whereas Condoleezza Rice, her platform is imposing Republican values, protecting conservative ideals, not just attack, attack, attack. That wasn't happening as much during her term as what was she? She wasn't. I forget what level she was. She was like third in charge. But anyway, during her time, that wasn't as prevalent as it is now. We're far more tribal now than we were when Condoleezza Rice was in power. So I'm fine with somebody that believes conservative principles. But yeah, when you're talking about Candace Owens, it's attack, attack, attack. And also being African American, let's just be clear. The overwhelming majority of content coming from Candace Owens about African Americans is negative. You don't watch Candace Owens and see her at a school where there's a hell of a lot of African Americans, all with graduating with honors. No, she'll go to a school where African Americans are tearing the damn place up and spray painting all over the windows. All of her content on us is negative, so she just doesn't appeal to me, because there's no way in 2023 that I believe anyone can only find negative stories on African Americans. There's a hell of a lot of us doing things that are positive. All her stuff is negative. So that, for me personally, that's a turnoff. Candace Owens used to be left-leaning. Then she's seen the right pay better. Kimmy, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that being a possibility. I personally wouldn't do it, but I will admit to you that most of my content that is critical of African Americans does a hell of a lot better than anything else I put out. If you are an African American and you criticize African Americans, there is a huge market for that, predominantly consumed by the right. Candace Owens is obviously making a career of that. So I do agree with that there is more money in doing that. Think about most African Americans that vote Republican. Think about the things they speak of. Almost all of the African American politicians, pundits, talk show hosts, commentators that are Republican leaning, they're very critical of African Americans. There is a lot of money in that. I've had folks, in fact, I've had close friends tell me I should do that because I would make more money. Listen, you can speak well, you're educated, you know what the hell's going on. If you chose this path, it would be far more lucrative for you. I totally believe that. I can totally understand it. And in the comments, I see folks saying it's a sellout. Yeah, folks in my own community they would view me that way. But yeah, if you want to be critical of African Americans, there's a hell of a lot of money to be made that way. And as I pointed out, most African Americans that become Republicans, that's the first thing they start doing is criticizing African Americans. It's almost like somebody that finds Jesus, that gets saved, first thing they start doing is criticizing sinners all over the place. Like, damn it, you was in the club with me last year this time. You fucked her too. What the hell you mean I'm committing sins? All of a sudden you find Jesus and you want to point my shit out? That's what happens. Most of the African Americans that go towards the Republican Party suddenly become very critical of African Americans. Now, I will be candid and tell you, because I watch a lot of right-wing media, it has started growing in me that way. Where if I'm around a bunch of African Americans, I start noticing shit because of the amount of right-wing media I watch. It points it out so much. So I'm like, yeah, you are wrong. Maybe the police should have shot your ass. I see it now because I'm hearing it so much from that area. But yeah, when you become an African American conservative, unfortunately, one of the tenets of that is criticizing African Americans. And Candace Owens does a lot of that. And somebody said, truth is honor, said for profit. Yeah. The second a white says something negative, they are labeled racist. Fancy Prancy, that is 100% true. And that is wrong. That being Caucasian, society has eliminated your right to criticize African Americans. Black people can definitely do shit wrong, period. If you are white pointing out something that a black person did wrong, doesn't mean you have to be a racist. You should have the right to speak your First Amendment rights. What do I say here all the time on the damn program? I always preserve the First Amendment rights of all my guests, no matter what their opinion is. It is wrong to have a society where one side is given this term just for criticizing somebody. Now, the pushback from a political sphere would be the same thing applies within the Republican Party. Just like if you're white and you criticize a black person, people automatically call you a racist. If you are a Republican, could be a lifelong Republican, the minute you criticize Trump, you are a rhino or a never Trumper. Your whole damn credibility as a conservative is wiped in the mud just because you criticize that one guy. It's almost the same damn thing. You should be able to criticize the leader of your party without somebody taking away all your damn credibility. I'm talking to Liz Cheney's, the Mitt Romney's, the Mitch McConnell's. Those guys ain't liberals. There's nothing liberal about Mitch McConnell. Are you crazy? He prevented Obama from even appointing a Supreme Court judge. He's not a liberal. The minute he criticized Trump, suddenly he becomes some kind of rhino or something like that. That guy been rolling with the Republican Party since Trump was a damn kid almost. That makes no sense at all. So I'm always going to be a fan of giving people their right to speak. You don't ruin somebody's credibility for being critical. Now, if you're doing it from a standpoint of hatred or something, we can debate that, but I don't know any Republican that is critical of Trump that has not been called a rhino. None of them. I mean, you got folks even calling Mike Pence, the guy who was number 2 in charge of the Trump administration, calling him a rhino. There is nothing liberal, Republican in name, only Mike Pence. Let me tell you how this goes, and I'll let you guys, I invite you to tell me where I'm wrong in the comments. I always invite dissenting opinion. But fact is, I've said this before, President Trump has a lot in common with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders is not a Democrat. But to run for president, he needed access to the funds from the Democratic coffers. So he went under the Democratic ticket to get access to that. But he's not a Democrat. Trump is not a Republican. But to get access to the Republican coffers, the RNC's funding, he ran as a Republican. That is why both Bernie Sanders and President Trump have so much clashing with the traditional politicians of their parties, because they are not one of these people. They're running from something else and trying to fundamentally change their parties. Bernie Sanders is doing it, and so is President Trump. So when folks criticize President Trump, and all of a sudden you MAGA folks, my beloved MAGA, start saying that these people are rhinos. No, in reality, Trump is the rhino. Trump is the one from day one that was a Republican in name only. Nothing about Trump's past or how he speaks illustrates that he is a Republican. He's basically an independent, running as a Republican to get access to the money. And he's trying to fundamentally change the Republican Party. You don't have to take it from a damn liberal. Just talk to any of the mainstream Republicans. They'll tell you. That's why he's having so much problems with the party itself. It's because you're not one of us. You're not doing what we fundamentally feel is the direction for the country. You're coming up with some new shit. Not to say the shit he's not coming up with might not be in the best interest of America. If you support MAGA, if you are MAGA, you support his policies. That's fine. Nobody can take that away from you. But he's not a conservative. Trump is not a conservative. He is the rhino. But because people won't go with him, you call the actual Republicans rhinos. That's inaccurate. That is an inaccurate representation of Mitt Romney, Mitch McConnell, Liz Cheney, all of these true blue, or true, I guess true blue red conservatives, or whatever the case may be. But these are true deep down Republicans that are losing their credibility as Republicans for criticizing a man that isn't a Republican. I don't see how that works. He's using Republican ignorance against him. MAGA is constantly in an identity crisis. I don't think they're in an identity crisis. They're MAGA. They just, well, I guess maybe so, because they don't know how to properly label it. But at the end of the day, MAGA is MAGA. It's not Republican. Hell, Trump actually talked about taking away firearms while president without even giving people due process. Actually said that while he was president of the United States. And he received less criticism than a lot of liberals that just simply gave it lip service. He was president talking about taking away guns, talking about fighting with the NRA. He's talked about limiting magazine capacity and all of that. Republicans don't talk like that. No accountability for that at all. Like I said, MAGA is different from conservatives. It's a different day and age, folks. Nevertheless, as always, I gotta do what I normally do around this time. It is a lunch break live. I appreciate you folks rolling with your boy. Could be anywhere you want to be on TikTok. As always, if you want or if you enjoy civilized dialogue from both sides of the aisle, feel free to follow the program. Helps out the algorithms. MAGA are my preferred guests, but liberals are welcome as well. And also, like I said, we will be on the main page in a couple days. So the Handsome Liberal is the main page. It's spelled properly. This page, the final L is missing. So follow the page, and until then, we'll catch you later. It's your boy Tim, the Handsome Liberal. I got to go.